Do you need home rental insurance and auto insurance if you move to Canada? Let's find out.
subscribe ให้พวกเราด้วยนะคะ
Hello and welcome to Tishi Dilko. Thanks so much for joining. Before we get into our video today, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video from us. Thanks again for the support, and we're going to get right into the topic today of if moving to Canada, how does home rental insurance and auto insurance work if you do decide to drive? So before we get into any specific details on home rental insurance or auto insurance, just want to talk a little bit about insurance in general and how it works in Canada. The two major types of insurance in Canada are home rental or homeowners insurance and also auto insurance. These types of insurance cover larger items that you're either renting, leasing, or you own. So generally speaking, Canadians and those moving here will hold both some sort of home insurance, whether it's for rental or ownership, and some sort of car insurance. Let's talk about home rental insurance first. So generally speaking, across the country, if you are moving into a rental, whether it's from a private landlord or a building, the requirement to hold rental insurance will typically be up to the building property company or the landlord. Some landlords or building managers will enforce you having a rental insurance policy in order to rent there. That will all be agreed to and you'll be informed on that ahead of time. If you are required to buy a home rental insurance policy, there are various options in each province. Some companies operate nationally, some will have different policies in different provinces. Some landlords or building managers also might have an insurance policy you can buy directly from them. So really what home rental insurance policies cover primarily are two main things: your belongings and what's called liability insurance. Now, with your belongings, that's pretty obvious. In the event of a fire or a, robbery, anything where it's, major, your insurance will cover replacing these. So with those policies that cover your belongings and also your liability insurance, how it generally works is you pay what's known as an annual premium. So there'll be a fixed amount that's agreed to in terms of what you're covered, and you would pay the insurance company up front for the whole year a premium or the fee for the insurance. And this keeps your insurance valid for the duration of the year. However, what's important to note is that in the event of a claim, every policy comes with what's known as a deductible. So, for example, if you do, had water damage and you had to replace, a bed, mattress, television, these kind of larger items, computer. Suppose that your belongings that were damaged cost $5,000 altogether. That's quite a large amount. Your insurance policy will have a deductible, usually around $300 to $500 in the event of damage. You would pay that, and this would ensure you get your $5,000 back in order to replace your belongings. So the deductible is actually on top of your annual premium. The premium is once a year. The deductible you would only pay if you needed to use insurance. This is important to know because, if, say, you had a belonging damaged by no fault of your own, but say it only cost $100, $200, this is the reason you would probably want to pay out of pocket for that type of thing to replace, because your deductible would be higher than the amount you would get back. The other big part of home renters insurance, as I mentioned, is what's known as liability insurance. Liability insurance covers you if you accidentally caused damage in your unit, but it also affected, say, another unit or another resident on the property. Similar to belongings, filing a claim it works the same way. You would pay your deductible and then insurance covers you for that other damage. And usually the minimum amount is actually up to $1 million. These are for major events. So if you were to cause a fire which damaged a good portion of the building, insurance protects you against that, and you would only be responsible for paying the deductible amount. To recap how it works, home renter insurance, sometimes it's mandatory depending on the building. Sometimes, the landlord would leave it up to you. In that case, you would have to decide if it makes sense for you. To recap the costs involved with home renters insurance, you would pay an annual premium, which is your annual fee. It lasts for 1 year. That's to keep your insurance policy valid. And that will change depending on the options you choose and depending on the company you choose. The other aspect of cost with home renters insurance is only if there was damage and you needed to file a claim to actually use the insurance. This is when you would pay the deductible. You don't pay any deductible unless you're actually using your insurance. And just remember, depending on the amount of your deductible and the amount that potentially you lost, that will determine if you should actually file an insurance claim or just have to pay for it out of your own pocket. So if the amount of the belonging or damage is less than your deductible, you'd want to pay for it out of pocket. You won't want to file an insurance claim. Vehicle auto insurance. This is the other big ticket insurance that's used all across Canada. And the main difference between home rental insurance and vehicle insurance is that vehicle insurance is mandatory all across the country. So the specifics with vehicle insurance in terms of your annual premium, the annual fee for the policy and the variety of companies, and then also having to pay deductible, that generally works the exact same way as home insurance. However, what's different in Canada is that depending on the province you live in, the vehicle insurance options work a little bit differently. In Saskatchewan, where we live, for example, we have a government-owned auto insurance provider that is your base insurance. Everyone in the province who has a vehicle, whether it's owned, leased, has to have a Saskatchewan license plate, and this provides a base level of insurance. And depending on the make and model of your vehicle and also your driving record, this will determine the annual price you pay to register your vehicle and have a base level of insurance for Saskatchewan. And in our province, even though that same annual premium fee applies, we do have options to pay monthly direct out of your bank account and a variety of other options twice a year, 4 times a year. Now, with that base insurance in Saskatchewan that's required for everyone, we also have the option, again, to buy extra. And why this is helpful is you go out to a private company, shop around, and depending on the make, model of a vehicle, you can reach out to private vehicle insurance companies and decide what you might want in your policy. This policy will have its own separate annual premium, last for the year, and what this primarily does, if there was a major accident, again, it protects your vehicle and protects the liability, and what it does above that minimum government insurance is it reduces your deductible. For example, in Saskatchewan, you are only required to have that mandated government insurance. If you were to get into an accident and needed a major repair on your vehicle, you would be paying $700. This is the deductible amount for the base level of insurance in Saskatchewan. However, if you added that private insurance policy, which can range from $200 to $400 a year, depending on your vehicle, that $700 deductible would actually be reduced to only $100 if you were to make a claim. So it can save you a lot of money if there was a major replacement or event that needed to occur. We'll give you an example. This summer, we took a road trip to another province. We drove past a big semi-truck. A stone flew up, damaged our windshield, and we do pay for that extra auto insurance. So the windshield, over $1,000 replace, we would have had to pay $700, but because we have that extra, we only paid $100 and had a brand new windshield installed with no other added cost to us. So depending on the province you live in, you might have a government base required model. plus the option to do private extra insurance. However, in other provinces, it is all completely private auto insurance. You're still required to have insurance in order to register your vehicle and legally drive it, but it's your choice on which company to seek out, and you're not paying two. You're not paying the government one and then having your own decision to, have this optional extra. You're actually kind of paying for both, in a sense, in one private policy. So in those types of provinces, Alberta, for example, you would be shopping around different auto insurance providers and seeing what works best for you. And there would be nothing else to buy on top of that. So if you are in a province where there is kind of a government required insurance and then the optional extra, it might be worth actually to pay the optional extra because it can save you a lot of money. If you're in a completely privatized insurance province for vehicles, there's no need to think about any extras. You have to just shop around the insurance providers, and that policy will cover any extras and also the basic needs. To recap, with vehicle insurance, it works the same way as home rental insurance in that, if there was minor damage to your vehicle and your deductible was higher than the amount to replace the damage, you probably would just want to pay for that out of pocket because you would be paying more for your deductible than you would get back in return. So it wouldn't make financial sense. We know insurance, especially in a different country, could be new for you. So if you do have any questions about how insurance works in Canada, please reach out in the comments, let us know, and we're glad to respond and dive a little deeper if needed. Thank you so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed this content. And if you did, remember to slap the like button, hit subscribe, and share to any friends who might find this interesting and valuable. Thanks again for watching. Thank you for all the support. Sadi Cup.